are expected to do some performance testing as a part of daily sprints or the bi-weekly sprints. So the expectations from the testers are heavily changing. The other thing is that all the companies, or most of the companies, already transformed. We all do agile. I remember the times when people were laughing on that. Agile, what's that? We can't do it in our company. Now the big corporations are able to transfer to the agile, and we need to keep up with that approach. We need to change how we do testing. So this is there. That's not trend. That's not something in the future. Nowadays, there are companies, maybe 80–90% of companies doing DevOps. That's nothing new. There are scalability issues, but that's there. What's going on is that this market moves. I remember the times when I learned load runner, and I could be expert in performance testing. That was enough. And I could survive with that for almost ages, maybe 5–10 years, it was still good enough. I remember the times when SOAP UI was the king of integration testing. So sometimes it was synonym. If you knew how to use SOAP UI, you was integration tester. These days are over. And what's going on there? New tools are popping up. It's not easy to focus on one tool. You cannot decide that I will learn this tool, and then I will become expert in that area. And other things, what's going on there, a lot of mergers and acquisitions. Companies buying new tools to get bigger market share, to offer end-to-end solutions, to somehow transform the market of tools. And of course, there are new ideas popping up and trying to disrupt the market. So what does this mean for us as testers? What we need to change to not miss the train? And I'll go further, and there is nothing new. There are still 3 key drivers, I think. You can challenge me during the break or in questions or in discussion. We are searching for quicker solutions. We want to find a way to get the results, to understand the quality much quicker. We are searching for cheaper solutions. We are just searching for the better quality and higher efficiency. So maybe test automation might help. And this was something I was thinking about. Is that the solution? And I have some other talk about that, whether automation is the solution or not. I'll not talk about that today. But test automation might help us to get closer to that goal, to become better. So what is the current status of test automation? I had a lot of slides, but we have just 30 minutes, so I skipped some. And I'll show you one statistics and then some thoughts about that. In 2018, there was one report issued from the DevOps teams, and they said we have only 10% manual. All the other activities are automated. And as I was talking about Agile, it's same with automation. There is no question whether we should automate, but there are many others like how, what, how to increase the efficiency, how to deal with the tools, how to upskill team to be able to automate. So there are questions of pain of scale of test automation. So automation is here, and what are the trends? What are the trends? What I should focus on if I want to start with that journey to become more technical tester, because this is the trend. So what are the trends in test automation? If I already get bored you, this is the final slide, and you might have a break. These are my 4 trends in test automation. The dinosaurs, nothing new. All the ideas just keep coming back again and again. But I believe if you didn't start with this, you should really hurry up. This is something we should at least know about, And maybe we should master some of these parts. The second one is we are trying to fixing the pain of the scale, as I was talking about previously. Then there is something, people call it AI and machine learning. Everybody is talking about, nobody understands how it will look like. So I'll talk about that later for those who don't leave after this slide. And the fourth one, these small popping up ideas, which are maybe already not popping up. Maybe these, and actually there is one, continuous testing. I was very skeptical about that because wherever I come, they said, what's that? That's kind of marketing bullshit. Why you are calling old ideas by new names? So we rename it because we are running workshop on continuous testing under Tesena, and we rename it Test Automation in DevOps. And then customers keep coming and saying, we would like to have something about continuous testing. I was scratching my head and I said, okay, we are trying to bring some new ideas on the market. Nobody listens, nobody reacts. We try to find the better names, and then it's coming. So it's here. I will talk about that later, what's the idea about. You might know about that. But I believe these are interesting topics. And I'm questioning myself as well. What should be my focus? And I have some kind of theory that we should trying to maintain the cash cows, but trying to shoot the rising stars. So this is important because not all the experiments we start with will end up with success. So these are my four. I don't know how much time I still have. I hope enough because I have plenty of slides so we can dig into the details. So old ideas, what are the old ideas? You should know about because it's serious. We are becoming more technical and we need to know that. So containers, simulators, cloud. That's something you probably know, but this is what I would probably take one from each if I don't know how it works and try to understand not the tool, but the principles. Because if you go into the details, they are all the same. Sorry for the experts who are trying to be expert in one or two, but the principles are same, and it's much easier than for us to switch between the tools. The second one is this record and play, nice idea. It's coming back again. They rename it because it's failed. So now it's called no code or low code. So sometimes if the idea fails, try to rename it. Maybe it'll work. And it looks like I'm skeptical about the idea, but I'm not. I believe this will work. We just need to wait a bit. I will talk later about that. So what are the examples where you could find these kind of principles? The obvious one is Selenium IDE. And I don't know whether you noticed a few years ago, the guys from, I think, Apply Tools, they rewrite completely the recorder. And it has some nice features. It could be even included into CI/CD. I wouldn't use it, but we have some customers, they decide to use it, and they have 200 test cases testing loans, running it 2 years, and they are happy with the solution. So in some cases, it might be still good enough to use it. If you would like to dig into the idea more, I would suggest you could go to Parasoft, that's the company. It's a commercial tool. It generates Java code, but you can easily record more and more tests into already existing project. And it also follows like nice pattern like page object models and all the others, which we criticize the tools that they don't have it. Third one is test.project.io. This is completely free tool, and this might be good tool to start with. We did some experiment in Tesena, and I asked two of my colleagues. One was test manager, no automation skills at all, and the second one was junior, joining us. And I asked them to start automate 5 test cases from Komerční banka mobile app demo. So if you don't know how to do that, you can start with that for free. You can download the application from App Store and experiment with the tool and find out how it works. So we will have a webinar for that in November, I think, how this end up. But I believe it's coming closer. So people could automate without technical skills. And I know a lot of automation experts will laugh on me, don't agree with me. It's coming. It's too early to say it's here, but it's coming. And I have one more example, extra bonus. There is a booth. I just read it, Sector A, Copado. Copado guys, are you here? There. They have a very nice tool which somehow implements this. I will send you invoice later. No problem, guys. But I saw the tool and I like it. This is good starting point for some of you who don't automate. So the next one, these fears about the new tools, this discussion, what will happen. This something that Load Runner is not anymore the best sexy tool on the market. It's coming also in Selenium topic, and you might know that there are Selenium 4 initiatives trying to keep up with the market. You know that Cypress is trying to win the market, if I could say that, and they are pretty successful. And there are some other toys you could start playing with. My actual favorite is Playwright. I think, and Philip, I would like to talk to you. Actually, Philip Ritz, the workshop leader over there, I would like to talk with him about the future of Cypress when the Playwright will grow so heavily as it is now, what will happen. So that's interesting topic over coffee. Let's discuss that. So that was the old ideas. You just need to understand that there is something and you should know at least one from each of my bullet point, or be aware what's going on there. And of course, we need to understand all the principles, all the things about testing. I'm not saying that's over. We need to understand the principles, but we need to keep up with technical innovation, which is coming into testing as well. So pain of scale, what I'm talking about. Nowadays, companies facing different problems than in past. And what are the problems? It's too slow. They don't know what they automated, and they don't know what is the impact. They are not able to select from 1,000 tests the ones which are relevant for that particular commit change. So how to cope with that? You might remember that we start manually running the automated test manually, but what's the point? It's automated test, but you need to execute it by spinning off it manually. So we start somehow run it regularly using Windows schedulers or cron jobs or whatever, and then now it runs as a part of pipeline. The second one is selection. We use the tags, we use the priorities, we somehow cluster the test cases into some groups. Nowadays, there are solutions, they will tell you, this commit, these 20 test cases will probably fail because of the change. So you can run machines, there is a machine learning, and these tools could help you to find that test cases which should be executed as a first, because you want to find bugs. Of course, regression testing goal is to prove that everything works, but if something failed, I want to know it now, not in 4 hours, now. So what are the tests I should execute first? And this is called test execution intelligence or smart test execution, whatever marketing name you might find on the internet, many. But this is not the theory. There is some tool, actually presentation from the guy tomorrow on our Tesena Fest. It's called Launchable. Maybe you know Jenkins. This is the author of Jenkins. He found a new company and now he is in quality. And they are building a tool which is very simple to integrate almost any test automation framework. And you just tell them, give me subset of test cases, 20% of test cases with highest probability of failure for this commit change. So you can try, you can play with that. I didn't, but I believe the demo they showed me. But this is nice idea in test automation. So there are not only these old ones, but there are also the new ones. And another interesting feature, which is coming to the test automation, which split the world of testing into two. I don't know whether it's even, but some people say it's a stupid idea. If tests should fail, it should fail. What's self-healing for those who don't know? Self-healing is the feature of test automation which fix your tests without touching it by humans. If the test fails from the previous runs, the tool guess what's wrong and fix it. Some people say that's not what we want in testing, but maybe yes. I don't know. I'm not so skeptical about the idea. But if this would work, then these record and place tools could be much better. So, some features about self-healing, I will skip it for today. I have too many slides, as I said. And I will move into AI and machine learning topic, because it just somehow fitting into one nice picture. And I think you know when the AI and machine learning is here, when nobody talk about that. Do you remember the ages of big data? There is no big data, there are just data again. It will be same with AI and machine learning. I think we need to find a solution or application and then it's easy. So AI and machine learning, what's the difference? Joke is coming, prepare, I expect that you will laugh. I found it on internet. So if it's written in Python, it's probably machine learning. If it's written in PowerPoint, it's AI. I don't know whether you like the joke. I found it interesting and fit into my slides. So maybe you know it, but I like it so much that I put the one extra slide there. So my top probably machine learning opportunities in test automation, and maybe I will start repeating myself a bit, but there are three. I think I've selected for this talk three. Execution and maintenance. For those you know that we are dealing with, how we are dealing with UI automation, we need to write these X paths or any other selectors, locators required for UI. 5 minutes, perfect. Oh, I'm on the third one. Okay, I can make it. So, interacting with app. Interacting with app might be much easier when you apply machine learning, because you can easily recognize the buttons. If you want to play with some open source tools, and I like open source as well, but I know that there are some situations when commercial tools are maybe better. We can discuss over coffee. But if you want to play with this functionality, there is Test AI, the open source Appium classifier. So you teach your bot or your automation script to recognize elements, and instead of putting the locators, you just say click on button OK, or click on shopping cart, or click on whatever. So you can play with that. Tools are there, it's open source, and you can learn how to do that. And the other thing is that this machine learning could be applied also for fixing the locators. This is actually maybe the most used feature nowadays in the era, or more developed feature. The second one is, imagine that you have a tool which gives you, instead of there are 150 failures, it gives you 30 test cases failed because the middleware is down, or login doesn't work. Or maybe the tool could tell you, these test cases should be probably fixed by Jano or John. Imagine that the tool would tell you that this failure is probably not the failure, or this failure will be fixed in 2 weeks. So these are the applications you can find on the data you collect from test automation. We are not using it in practice too much, but I believe this is the other big opportunity for us, working more with data we collect. Because with test automation, we more test, we collect the huge data, but we don't work with them. So that's the second. If you're interested in that topic, Report Portal might be the tool to play with. Autonomous testing, that's my favorite. Once I finish with this talk, I don't mean now, but in future, this will be my new topic. Because automation era is over soon. I don't know how long does it take. The soon might be in 10 years, 15 years, or 2 years. But I just don't want to become new Kodak. I'm really trying to see what's going on there, and the autonomy is there. And do you know why I know that? There is one analytical company, you might know, Gartner. A lot of management believe that they are always true. And if they said that it will be here, then probably it will be here. If not, then it will be here because people will believe on that statement and try to make it happen. So what is the autonomous testing? And I need to really speed up. So it's replacing humans by the tool doing the testing. And the questions, don't put it in the slide, I will answer now. Whether it will replace us or not, no, because I remember the times when the automation should replace us, and it didn't. It will be same story. My opinion. You do not need to agree. So level of test automation, you might find 3 sources. If you are interested, I could give you the resource. There are 6 levels. We are slowly starting going down through the journey. There are many features you need to have, like this card. There are many features you need to have to be able to do the test automation. There are few I put here, and if you are taking pictures, the next one will be about the tools for each feature. That's the biggest challenge nowadays on the market. There is no one vendor who cover all, so they are not able to do the fully autonomous testing yet. And this is the next one, and these are just examples. The list is not complete, but if you would like to experiment, these are 2 slides. You can have some inspiration to see more. Other opportunities, very quickly, how much time I have? Oh, well, it's over. So I will do it on only this one slide, and I will skip all the details to keep time somehow still reasonable. So continuous testing, chaos engineering, and RPI. These 3 topics, if you are interested in that ideas which are popping up, actually continuous testing is not the disruptor anymore, that's there. But the chaos engineering and RPI might be interesting topic for us as a testers because it's not so mainstream for us. RPI is robotic process automation. Many companies promote that as a good step from testing to get better salary, but it's actually automation in production. Environment might be a bit more stable. And then continuous testing or testing in DevOps is just basically building everything here into the pipelines. I'll skip all these my slides, and this is the summary I would like to talk, or I was talking about again. And I would like to summarize that the world is changing. We need to adapt, so don't miss your train. Thank you for listening. I hope the main content or point was there.
Well, thank you, Marcel, for your insights. We have one question on Slido, and we have time for one question, so that's great. You said test automation will be all over the place, but are not referring to test automation as test execution, and is testing much more than execution?
Okay, that's something which is my different talk, but that's a bit pity. We are focusing on execution, but there are so many other things we could still automate, and there are also already some prototypes, like we are now experimenting with the tool where you, from your documentation, generate some simple tests. It's still simple, it's not so complex you would do by humans, but these are the other things which need to be automated, and you might find it probably on one of the slides. I was saying that you should take a picture. Hopefully there is some topic about that as well. Yeah, so that's not about the execution. I think entire testing need to be automated, all the steps. And of course, we can discuss long what could and what couldn't be automated, but I believe we're going to that direction.
Thank you, Marcel. One more applause for him.
Ďakujem.